So hey, hi, and welcome back. So today we are going to talk about a very important topic which everybody neglects and overshadows it in day-to-day life. And I think it is very important because a lot of people, they often suffer from this very problem. And today's topic is all about self-limiting beliefs, doubts, self-doubts, and limitations. Okay, so we have already spoken about self identity, that how do you make self identity, but in that very act of creating an identity, you often tend to look around yourself. You try to understand the practicality of the identity you are making, and this is where self doubt, self limiting beliefs and limitation comes. Okay, now, when I'm saying self identity, I am not saying to become Iron Man, or I'm not saying to become Steve Jobs. I'm not saying you to become Ramanuj. Okay, I'm not saying to become any of others. I'm saying you to become your best self. So, self identity is what exactly you know about yourself. You are yourself without any filter, without any mask, who you are when nobody sees you, when nobody is around you, who you are, what you think. Okay, now let's say you, I would give you one example. Okay, I am Shishir. Okay, and I am a good person with a great mind of understanding problem and solving it analytically and with good reasoning. Okay, but I was not like this before. Before that, my most self thought, or the very limiting thought, was that I don't understand math, I don't understand how to communicate properly, and more importantly, I was not good at being practical. For me, it was always to be in a rush, to be in a moment, and most importantly, it was all about getting rid of that moment itself. For me, the practicality of reality was so absurd that I always wanted to get rid of this reality. More importantly, it used to make me frustrated all the time, that I need to deal with these people, I need to deal with this problem, I have to make things work out, I need to work on myself. It was very frustrating for me. Now, the very thing, as a kid, I used to hate maths. I used to hate it from a very core, because it doesn't matter how many times I used to study, it doesn't matter how many times I used to practice the problems, but it was always something or the other that it not it used it was never able for me to grasp this understanding about how math actually worked. But then once I met this one good teacher who taught me that maths isn't about numbers. It's never about uh, the statements that are asked to solve the problems. It is about how conventionally or how tactically you can think to solve the problem. It is about efficiency, how easily that you can roll your mind up, understand the very problem, and seek the solution of it. And this is how it went. Initially, few days, it took some time, because as this was my very limit, the very self doubt that I am not good at math, it used to stop me. But it was my teacher, it was that very person who gave me this acknowledgement, who provided me with some sort of motivation, and more importantly, he didn't mock me or nag me for not getting the answers or getting the answers wrong. Even if I was getting the answer wrong, he used to sit beside me. He used to help me with finding the solution. Okay, and this is how I try to invest myself, grow my interest into math, and I started solving the math efficiently and effortlessly. The other problem was dealing with the reality, nagging about to deal with people. The very simple fact, I was not good at communication. I met that same person again, and he himself gave me few tasks on the daily basis. It took me like few months, like 2 or 3 months, to get hang of those tasks on the daily basis, but the consistency and the persistence was something that helped my limiting beliefs to break down and my self doubts to completely dissipate. And this is how I got over my self limiting doubts and self limiting beliefs. It was never about this very fact that I'm not good at it or I don't know how to do it. But then it was about what is exactly stopping me from doing it, how exactly I am going to do it when nobody is going to think about the end result. And when I'm saying nobody, often we think about our own self. The end result might be this, the end result might be that. But honestly, the result is always positive. There are no failures, to be very honest. You only learn from your failures, from your mistakes, you only learn. You only grow from your mistakes. There is no tag of failure that is shining on your head or on your shoulder pads. So be very honest, and like the very thought of self belief or self identity comes from the thought that you want to do something. Okay, self limiting beliefs and self limiting thoughts come when you put yourself in the position from the point of results. The second you think that you are seeking for some sort of results, you are seeking for some sort of output, you are seeking for some sort of validation, you try to engrave these boundaries in your mind. You try to create these barriers around your self worth, and this is where you start demotivating yourself. You start criticizing yourself in a very bad way. You try to humiliate yourself for no reason. On a longer term, it is very negative and very harmful for your body. Initially, for few things, yeah, you might say it's okay, but this is a very addicting thing, and it becomes a habit. Constantly nagging yourself, constantly self doubting yourself for no reason. This reflects on your behavior, this reflects on your personality, and this also reflects with the very essence of how you communicate in society, within your friends, within your parents, within yourself. The easiest way to cope is to try to understand who you are, try to understand this very thought or this very work or this very task, is it going to benefit you on a longer run. And besides this, this very thought is very essential for you. Okay, on top of it, everything that you see, everything around you, every thing that has been recorded is man made, except for this planet and the natural things that are around us. Besides this, everything is man made. Schools, exams, jobs, roles, positions, gadgets, matter of fact, food, everything is made man made. It is a human construct. So, the next time when you start thinking or limiting yourself or doubting yourself, remember this very thing is made through a construct of a person, from a construct of a man. So if this man never doubted to make this thing or this very task, why are you doubting yourself? This is the very easiest way to cope with your self limiting doubts and your belief. Remember, there might be someone who created education system, there might be someone who has created examinations, there might be a person who created a company, there might be a person that who has created job roles in that specific company, there might be a person who has been interviewing for this very roles. So the difference between that person getting a job and the difference between you not getting a job is that you have self-limited yourself, your worth itself, that you are not ready for that job. Even same goes with the exam. Exam is same for all that 120 students, but one of the student gets 95% mark and the other person gets 60% of marks and the third person gets no marks at all. It is on that person that person believes that he is ready to get 90% marks or 60% marks, or he is worthy of being failed. So it's all about your mind. Your self beliefs comes from here, and you limit yourself, create the boundaries in here. There is no physical explanation of the physical practicality or the very acceptance of physical state that this is the boundary. No, it is here. So the day you stop thinking about it, you conquer your mind and you conquer your self-limiting doubts and your beliefs. I hope that this very video is helpful for you to understand how self-limiting thoughts work, how self-doubt works, and how to get rid of these thoughts once and for all. There is no such thing as self-limiting belief or self-limiting thought or even self-doubt itself. Understand whatever word where self is associated, it is yours. If you can create it, you can dismantle it very easily. So if you can't understand it yourself, seek out a help from a person who is capable enough, who is competent enough to help you out. The way I took help from my teachers or my peers or the friends whom I really asked for and they really helped me out. This is the way you deal with practicality. This is the way you deal with reality itself. You seek help, people help you out, and in return, you just go on with your life. The limits, rules are just something that stops you from exploring your own potential. The second you come to understand this, everything is just an easy piece of cake. I hope this very video gets to you in a very good essence, and I hope that my video is able to help you to understand what self beliefs and self thoughts, self limiting thoughts and self doubts are, and how can you cope with it on a longer term, and what are the effects of it on a very longer term. This is it for all for today, and I'll meet you tomorrow in the next video. Till then, take care and bye.